Hello there, everyone, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program Flyers Ed. We are back, and we are here with our instructor, Mr. Pfister, once again. And I interrupt.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. How are you? It's very chilly here this evening over here in New York.
It's actually surprisingly chilly here as well. We had freezing rain last night.
It's weather is not my favorite vitamin. That's all I have to say.
Definitely not. Space is far preferable. There's no weather.
In some ways, yes. Especially when it's simulated on the computer screen.
Exactly. So what's the plan for today?
Well, here we are in 2015. I think it's high time that we got our boys home. We've got the Kerbal X, the original stranded craft. We've got the X Mark II, which was the successful rescuer. And then we had the rescue donor. They were not launched in that order, obviously. And the rescue donor was a sort of testbed craft. And while it might not have gotten us what we needed what we thought we needed when we went into designing it, we are going to get some useful footage out of it, and we're going to demonstrate a couple of things as far as ejection burns and return trajectories and that kind of stuff.
That sounds good. So, let's get started.
Let's get into it.
Yeah, there we are. Good old donor.
All right. Yep.
Now,
let's go ahead.
We put a heat shield on this, right?
Yes, it's underneath the capsule.
Oh yeah, there's the parachutes. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
So that will be hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Let's what's the station fuel level?
75. Fair chunk of it.
And the power core is depleted?
Which of the station?
Yeah, the drive module of the station.
Is shut down, you mean? Oh yeah, it's...
Yeah, but the fuel. The fuel that's internal to the drive module of the station.
Oh, this part, yeah. Yeah, it's empty, yes.
Okay. Alright, let's undock.
Yeah, and this thing's got fuel only in its main central engine.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
What's in the radials?
The radials are completely empty. The central is full. Which I believe we determined was more than adequate to get us home.
Okay. Well, let's fill up the radials.
Okay. Let's see. Fuel, TAC fuel balancer. Now, let's see.
Liquid fuel oxidizer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, here we go. And then
scroll to the right along the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And on the Jumbo 64, let's just power out. Transfer out, yeah.
Transfer out. And transfer out. And that'll fill everything else up, including the drive tank.
Ooh.
That's okay.
Well, no. Go into the drive tank and shut it off.
Okay. Doesn't hurt to have a bit in there, but yeah.
For purposes of what we're doing, no. But it will potentially... I can imagine if this were like an emotionally invested career save, you would want to simplify your inventory levels as much as possible and just throw it all into the orange module.
Fair enough.
That way you don't have to worry about what's left over, and it's just easier to keep track of in your brain.
Yeah, that makes sense. This engine's shut down, so we're okay on that front.
Okay. Oh, let's enable SAS.
Oh. Remember how to play this. It's been a fair bit of time since I've managed to play any of these games, so...
Yeah.
I have to remember which keys to play.
Alright, on liquid fuel, let's turn off the transfer.
Stop.
And let's turn off the other transfer.
Yep, there we go.
And for purposes of anal retention, let's drain the power module. We can do that manually.
Okay. There we go.
There you go.
Done and done. Okay.
All right, let's F5 that bad boy. Close the fuel balancer.
Done, and done. Okay. I guess we're going to pull the plug on this and...
Yep.
We got 13 minutes until departure. Release. Now then.
Okay.
This thing has no...
Activate RCS, and let's pulse away with N, as in November.
This thing didn't have any RCS on it, remember? So, yeah, remember that was the
switch
biggest...
over and pulse away with that.
Actually, it does have... We're just about clear.
Let's deactivate the claw.
Disarm. There we are. SAS off. Now let's see. We want to make sure we're going away from this a little. So
Not
we'll just
necessarily. Oh, you're just going to pulse the engines. Let's make sure the engines are on and at full throttle. That we haven't governed them down.
Yep. Full throttle, disactivated. Let's see. That one, center one's activated and thrust limited. Outer ones are deactivated currently. But not anymore. All right.
All right. Now let's go to the map view.
Okay, perfect.
Now, based on what we discussed a while ago, which was a while ago, where would we perform an ejection burn?
About over this crater right here, just as we're coming in, just around Kerbal Rise, if I recall correctly.
Let me see it.
Drop it in right there. I'm sort of deducing that based on the position of the departure of the other one, which is actually slightly towards the front. Pretty close to the periapsis, funny enough. Well, that's an impact event right there.
What's our Kerbal Perry right now?
Kerbal Perry is impact.
Okay.
There we are. 57.
Let's see if we can get it down to below 10 kilometers. Gotta activate the flag there.
All right. You know, I keep forgetting to use that in the... Well, that's going to be a hard flag to activate because it's on the other side of the planet.
No, you've already activated it.
Oh, have I? Oh, jeez, yeah. Silly game. Yeah, it's... I keep forgetting to use
It's a little finicky, yeah.
Let's see if I can do that just by adjusting departure time. Which I can. Look at that. I'm not even having to use any more gas
Learning
for
is
this.
occurring. Yep.
There we are. 10 clicks.
All right. That is a very fatal re-entry card.
Yeah.
But there's something else. There's something else I want to demonstrate. Let's see, what can we do to normalize this trajectory and flatten it out? What can we do to reduce its inclination?
Well, we would have to decrease the normal.
Or
change the time we leave, I guess.
You're thinking in the correct direction. We can also use radial. If we were in eccentric orbit around Kerbal, radializing won't do much to our inclination. But we're not in simple orbit around Kerbal.
Interesting. Okay, let's just throw a few... That's making it more crazy. Oh yeah, it is making it less crazy, isn't it?
Well, it's trading crazies.
Yeah. Well, the downside there is it's oh no, it's still a 5-hour return, and
No.
That's actually not bad. And then we need to bring our parry down somehow.
Let's zero out the radial. This happens to be a situation where radial burn won't help us, but I just wanted to point out that it's something to keeping.
I'll have to keep.
Let's do -10 normal right now.
That'll increase our inclination. So
All right,
be
let's go to +30.
10. Getting close.
40 or 50.
That should be pretty. A bit more will do it. Let's just look.
Yep.
Edge on. There we are. That's a perfectly flattened normal.
Now let's work with that periaps again.
Let's pull 10 off. That puts us up to 71, which is just outside of there 30.
Let's go for 10.
You think we can still survive? Oh, we're gonna do a powered reentry, aren't we?
We're gonna do a couple of things. One of them is gonna be a powered reentry. Yes.
Okay. Because, of course, this guy's coming in steep, and I've been having some interesting troubles with powered reentry and better than starting manned, so that'll be interesting.
Yep.
Interesting exercise. Okay.
How much time to this burn?
Time?
Let's pull up the Nav Ball.
8 minutes. Oh, yeah, Nav Ball. We could use that, couldn't we? Yeah, 8 minutes, and our Mark II departure is also 8 minutes away. They're almost exactly at the same time.
Then,
let's see what
almost.
we could. Let's see. There's a way to tell it to go. There's a way to tell it to go +1 orbit, isn't there?
How do you think?
Would that work? It would be basically increasing the time by a full orbit, but.
But what is that increment?
Yeah,
You're correct.
right.
There's a simple way to do it.
Yeah. The increment, well, it would be the period of my orbit. The period of my orbit is the time. Of course, it's that time in universal time. But yeah, we'd be increasing it by 40 minutes. 40 minutes and 50 seconds. Yeah, because that's our orbital
And
period.
how much is a minute? How much is a second in terms of UT increment ticks?
UT is in. Is it in millisecond? It's in micros. Sorry, is it tenths of a second? Or
I think that it's in individual seconds and then fractions of seconds.
okay, so.
But while your answer is mathematically correct, the interface provides a simpler solution to do the same thing.
That's what I thought.
Let's click on the maneuver node on the orbit path.
Okay. And
Let's
click
click
it
it
one
again.
more time. It's doing that thing again.
Yeah. Or right click.
There it is.
There you go.
So this button right here is +1.
Yep.
And that increases our periapsis significantly.
And it also slightly mucks with our inclination. So let's fix the inclination first.
There we are.
All right. And now let's draw the periaps down to around 10.
There we go.
I like it.
Okay. Quick save.
Let's set the Kerbal alarm.
Add. Donor rescue. 46 minutes. And add.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
All right, let's get rid of this.
And let's position ourselves at the maneuver node. Let's point towards the vector. On the
This
nav
one?
ball.
Oh, right, yes. Yes, vector, nav ball, yes, rotate.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year! Happy sick recovery day. I had such great plans for this holiday, and instead I'm going to spend this week scrambling to get enough episodes for next week, because I'm going to have real trouble recording next week. Next week, I have a 5-day course I'm going to be attending. It's scheduled in Eastern time, so I'm going to be getting up at 5:30 in the morning.
Sweetness.
It's online at least, so I don't have to drive to work for a week, but I got to get up at 5:30, which means recording's going to be an absolute nightmare. So, so we won't be able to record next week. I'm going to be absolutely fried. So this is going to be getting this done will be very useful.
Let's go to the flight scene. B,
Okay.
I'm completely off next week, so I can do it at any time of day. But let's.
Yeah.
We're going to pay very close attention before we execute this burn.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure that we don't end up unintentionally burning towards our pill.
Good call. We were actually going to be dealing with the Kerbal X Mark II first.
Okay.
Which now actually we've never dealt with the Kerbal alarm clock with multiple flights inactive. So what happens when we? So it's gonna. I guess we're going to find out in a few minutes here, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
All right. So shall I warp us to the?
Sure.
It's because we're
You F5'd, I hope.
Oh yes.
Yeah, you F5. You F5'd.
Mm-hmm. Now is it? So I actually have to.
Nope.
No, it'll give me the opportunity. It'll switch.
It'll give you an impassable little dialog box.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Keep warping. There you go.
Yeah,
And then it's going to down warp you itself. So let it do its thing. So
Okay.
we're going to delete on close.
Mm-hmm.
And we're
Jump
going
to
to jump to ship and restore maneuver node.
Nice. So everything has been saved.
Yes, with an asterisk.
It
It saves the abs. Go ahead.
as well as crossing SOIs is saved, right?
That's essentially correct. It saves the raw burn vector values, but if there are any rounding point errors in the trajectory since then, it will result in what Scott Manley refers to as maneuver node rot.
Okay, so do I replace the maneuver node or use the one that's already here?
We'll use the one that's already here, so just close alarm.
Okay.
Let's go to let's maneuver.
Yeah. Point ourselves in the
Now
right
let's
direction.
go to the map scene.
And we're probably gonna have to burn now because.
Well, let's
Holy
show the nav
smokes.
ball.
Yep. I can't even remember what we were thinking with this one, but.
Well, this is maneuver node rot.
Or do we need to redo this? Or
I don't think so. I don't think so. Well, hold on. Stop.
Yep, stopped.
Close precise node.
Okay, what? Why is that not closing? Why can I not remember how to close this silly thing?
It's no big deal. Cycle left and right across the different nodes.
Okay.
Node 1, node 2, node 3. Delete node 3.
Okay.
Now delete node 2. I like it.
Except
Alright,
isn't
burn
that
the node.
that's an impact trajectory, isn't it?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're gonna fix it.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay.
Burn it down to a periapse of approximately 60 kilometers.
Okay.
There you go.
It's even flattening out for us. Look at that.
There you go. One less puff.
There we go.
Let's
Kill the
delete
node.
this maneuver node. Yep.
Okay. And delete this random maneuver node that apparently is here.
I think so, yes.
What the heck is
Now,
that?
we have a couple of mods installed.
Yes.
What do you suppose this is? Just
That-
using the process of elimination.
I would, since I've never seen it before, I would suspect it's a mech jeb. Oh no!
It is
wait,
not mech jeb.
trajectories.
Okay,
We had this trajectories mod.
that's correct. What do you think this information is telling you?
It tells me what will happen to my orbit after I pass through the atmosphere.
Okay.
Because
So-
what this looks like is a basically, when I was running the Kerbal 3, and it was taking forever to bring the periaps down, this looks like about what it looked like. Because we're just skimming through the upper atmosphere, so what we're seeing here is the orbit that will be produced when we do one pass through the atmosphere. Is that right?
That's pretty much spot on, yeah. It is a mod that applies drag values and atmospheric math to your flight trajectory.
Cool.
Whereas the stock trajectories don't do that. Now, because we're on stock aerodynamics, this trajectories mod is more reliable because the stock aerodynamics haven't really been tweaked in a long time, though asterisk for those of our viewers paying attention, it is something that the devs have indicated they're going to start paying attention to probably towards the mid-range cycle of the beta period.
Yeah, they said, they've mentioned a new aerodynamics model was going to be implemented to, hopefully clean up the soup. All right, so
it's digital mayonnaise, really, yeah. Now, the Trajectories mod is capable of cohabitating with Ferrum Aerospace, but that is really dependent on how well up-to-date a user keeps their far or near mod installs, which we don't have running on this instance right now, so it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
And you just activated a periapsis, an SOI change.
Yeah.
Oh, you caught me.
Yeah, an SOI, Kerbal Mark II's SOI alarm.
Okay.
Right?
What does that mean?
It means that it will stop time warping so that we can cross the SOI boundary at a normal speed and not have bad things happen to our orbits. Good. Floating point errors.
Where will we? That's right. Where will we appear on our Kerbin orbit path?
Where will we appear? Here. Right about here. Because it shows it. It's a very useful... So yeah, we will be here. And I think we're going to be heading down towards Kerbin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we'll be heading...
Let's look at a zoomed out normal projection. Even if that little mouse over hadn't given us the same info, we can kind of see what's happening. Because we know that the moon is orbiting in a sort of counterclockwise fashion around the planet.
Yep.
And we know that what we're doing is we're trying to descend, which means we do what to our absolute orbital energy?
It is going to be increasing.
We slow down at apoaps so as to lose altitude, which means we will increase orbital speed, but we won't be increasing orbital energy. The orbital energy is represented by the total of the ellipse.
Ah, okay.
It is our altitude and orbital speed that are functions of our orbital energy as subjected to time. So as we progress forward, we might be closer and closer to Kerbin periaps with increased orbital velocity, decreased altitude, which means we will have equivalent orbital energy. We're not going to lose orbital energy until we do something with our engines or until we start burning off speed with atmospheric drag.
All right. Cool. So that makes sense. So basically all we're doing, this isn't actually a change in orbital energy, this is a transition between what we're orbiting. Mm-hmm. So if we weren't touching the atmosphere, there would be no functional change in our orbital energy as we orbited Kerbin. It would just stay there forever.
Until you hit something. Yep.
Until you hit something. The odds of that being pretty low.
Pretty damn low. Yep, space is pretty damn big.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's that one taken care of. Now we're waiting on donor rescue and the scary atmospheric So we'll just do a nice cinematic shot of the moon as we depart with Donor Rescue, or with Kerbal X2.
And as tip of the iceberg for illustrating how big space is, we know how big those craters are when we're landed in them.
Yeah. And they're little tiny dots. And disappearing. All right.
Slowly but surely.
Yeah. Donor Rescue's time is coming. I'm not going to worry about the time warp. Here we go. Because Kerbal Alarm Clock has the job. It has it well in hand. Okay, so delete on close, jump to ship, and restore maneuver node?
Yes.
Okay, let's find out if it... Okay, and delete on close.
Yep.
Close alarm.
Let's error check on map view.
And look at our zoo that has been formed once again. So let's get rid of all, but let's get rid of the extra node and see what we've got.
I like it.
That's the maneuver we had planned. So maneuver.
I like it a lot.
Okay.
Let's take a visual check as to where the pill is.
Ah, yes. It is right ahead of us, so it's going to be close. I think we're going to be okay, though. Just looking at that orbital angle, I think we're going to be okay, so let's fire it up. I mean, it's going to come to a point where we're not going to have any way of doing anything about this, so...
Right.
Yeah,
we actually began the burn about 4 or 5 seconds early, but that's okay.
Oh, yeah. I suppose I better check where our orbits are actually winding up then before we...
Sure.
Oh yeah, we're going to miss, no problem. We just make sure our real orbit... I actually may have stopped that. Oh, no, we still got a little ways to go. Let's give it a little more gas here. Cut the last 100,000 meters off, and we want to stop it pretty close to that 10 kilometer. We don't want to have an impact. I mean, it'll turn into an impact trajectory really fast.
Well, not only that, with this kind of orbital energy drilling that deep into the atmosphere, it might as well be an impact. I mean, there's no heat. There's no single part heat shield that I'm aware of that can handle this.
Okay. So we're going to discuss exactly how to rescue from this, which is going to be pretty exciting. We overshot. Oh, noes.
Well, either overshot or we had to take the trajectory we were given because of a limited Delta V budget.
Yep. But there we are. And add alarm for SOI change 1 minute prior. Bingo. All right. 3 minutes until Kerbal X crosses the boundary.
Yep.
It's funny how I just can't find Minmus in this sky right now. But I can find the other planets just fine. I'm just curious where it is. Is it just that small that we can't see it when we're zoomed in all the way?
It's just that small.
Huh, interesting. Oh no, or we just couldn't see it when we were... Oh yeah, there it goes. Crazy.
Yep.
Well, that's an important lesson right there. So we can see Leith, but we can't see Minmus, which is our closest celestial neighbor right now.
Pretty much.
Good to know. All right, so that is all for this episode.
What did we cover today?
Well, we actually executed the departures of our 3 ships with varying degrees of hazard for their upcoming Kerbin re-entries. We had a look at the trajectory tool, and we played around with fuel rebalancing and some of the quirks of Kerbal Alarm Clock switching from one ship to another during scheduled changes. So,
well, I think we've set ourselves up very well for the next episode.
Yeah. So, see you next time.